Well, I'm hitting play. Ooh. Alright, looks like we're live.
Alright, so...
Oh, what is the name of this game here? Let me join in here with you.
It's the... I think it's just Frontier Stream. I think that's the name. Alright, so we are live. We're...
Oh, let me close that out or I'm going to keep hearing myself talk in the background. Alright, I found it.
Alright,
I think we can let them know that we're ready to go.
Yeah, so we are live. So, welcome everybody. This is the weekly Frontier Stream. I'm Kalidas, otherwise known as Noah.
And I'm Kevin Finkel. I'm joining today.
Alright, so let's have the players draw their hands.
Alrighty, so what we're looking at here is a blue-black control list. Pretty standard one from what I'm looking at here. We've got the deck list in front of us, and I'm also seeing a blue-red prowess on the other side. So this one's going to be a little bit more interesting. I mean, we see some blue-red prowess, but they can kind of go far and wide in the card choices they go with. So here I'm seeing Firebrand Archer and Thermo Alchemist is kind of the interesting twists that I've seen. So I've seen a lot of different things. He's going 3 and 3 between those two. I've seen some with 4. I've seen some that just go with the other prowess creatures. I've seen Riddle form. I've seen a bunch of 1-drops. Like, blue-red prowess can go a lot of ways. This is going to be interesting.
So, something that I see here is the full 3 Search for Azcanta and multiple Fevered Visions, which I expect to be reasonably good in this matchup.
Yeah, I think if you go low enough to the ground, it makes sense to be able to run Fevered Visions in the main deck. It does play a little bit strangely with the Thermo Alchemist, which specifically looks for instant and sorceries, not just any spell, unlike the Firebrand Archer and some of the other prowess things.
I think the key to this matchup is going to be sticking a threat and getting the match over quickly, or overwhelming the blue-black control deck and eventually resolving some kind of treasure cruise.
Yeah, that's not going to be bad, and if he can get down one of those Fevered Visions, that'll look great here.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so why don't we go a little bit of play-by-play here. So it looks like we started off with a 6-card hand from Ostawart, who went straight into a... Oh, no, I'm sorry, was this a 5-card hand?
No, it's a 6-card hand.
Sorry, I was following the deck lists here. It looks like he was down to 5.
Well, so we had
some quick counting.
Yeah, it was on 5 because he's on the draw.
Yes. Right, so he went for that turn 1 Monastery Swift Spear off of a Ramen Up Ruins, and that got fatal pushed by his opponent here.
So now we're seeing a wonderful combo. We've got Thermo Alchemist and Titan Strength in the same hand.
See, there's another one. The Thermo Alchemist looking a little bit strange. You think he'll go for... Okay, so he went for a mountain, which means that he's going to be shut off from that Search for Azcanta and that Treasure Cruise for a little bit here.
His fetch was
But that makes some sense when he had no other 2-2 play.
Yeah, his fetch was not a blue source.
It could have been. With the Bloodstained Mire, he could have grabbed a Sunken Hollow, but it would have come into play tap.
Yeah, and I don't think he can give up the tempo against this control deck.
Exactly, yeah. So he had no other 2-turn to play, so it's probably worth it to go ahead and do that. Actually, I'm looking at the list here. I don't believe he has any of the blue-black duel. So I think that he's just got those as ways to fuel his treasure cruise and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So a little bit of awkwardness on this.
Yeah, a little bit awkward there. All right, so why don't we go ahead and take a little bit look at Diamond Command's hand here. So I'm seeing he's now got 2 black and a blue, which is going to be a little bit strange. He won't be able to cast that Disallow. I might have liked him playing
play the Flooded Strand, yeah.
Flooded Strand there first. So maybe he's looking to be able to fetch another duel, but I think with 3 black sources, he's probably already fine there. But he's got a Censor if he can play into it. He's got the Disallow and the Supreme Will. He can still play the Supreme Will this turn, so that's actually great.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably what he's going to be looking
pretty much
to do
just what he wants to be doing. A lot of early interaction, not the fastest start from Ostawart, so he should hopefully be able to get up to this, dig through time and things like that he's going to want to be.
Alright, so here we're seeing one of the Silumgar's command in this list, and the list has, count them, 3 Silumgar's command.
Oof.
Which is... You go ahead.
It's going to be... It's going to be tough in this matchup. I think it's going to be slow. If he can catch something like a Fevered Visions, it'll be great, but otherwise it's going to be really hard to get something to work with that.
Alright, so here we're going to see an attempt on a Search for Azcanta. I don't expect this to resolve.
No, I'd be surprised if he... So he's going for the Supreme Will as a counter here.
Yeah, Search for Escanta is one of the cards that'll allow this blue-red prowess deck to really get ahead of the blue-black control deck.
Well, he's getting a little bit of chip damage in here. Well, see, again, like I said, the Search for Escanta doesn't work well with Thermo Alchemist. He didn't get that extra point of damage from that.
Now, we're also seeing this Hungry Flames here. I would not be surprised at some point. It's because there are very few creatures in the blue-black control list that it can target. I would not be surprised if we eventually see it cast on the Thermo Alchemist just to deal 2 damage to target player.
Yeah, that's an option. It would kill the Thermo Alchemist, so I'd rather see that on something like a Monastery Swift Spear that's already been pumped once.
Yeah.
But if he has to do it, I've certainly seen that.
Yeah.
That's where this Hungry Flames gets a little bit awkward. We sometimes see things like Collective Defiance instead, which would have been able to work. Even the Insult to Injury I quite like in this kind of deck, which is the one that doubles all damage, and then you can flash it back to do 2 to a creature and 2 to a player. That one works better with the trying to hit your own creature with it. I've certainly made that play.
Yeah, he does have 2 Collective Defiance in his deck. So here we're going to see the second Search for Escanta. I don't expect this to resolve. And so here we're going to see the Silumgar's command, and it's going to kill the Thermo Alchemist. And that, it's a 2-for-1. It's the cryptic command of the format, you might say.
Yeah, that's powerful. Let me make sure he's counting his Sheevan Reef damage there. He's doing himself a little bit of damage with his lands here.
That's all but irrelevant until the very late stage of the game, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got this Scarab God. He could start turning in the corner here if he'd like to. If he drops that down, I don't see an easy way that Osterwart's going to be able to get rid of it.
No, just a tempo stumble on the part of the blue-red deck really just pushed this game out of reach.
Yeah, and it kind of reaches back to that. I mean, mulling down to 5, and then the double Search for Escanta, a little bit awkward. Almost paid off in the first one getting countered, but still not going to look great here.
So we're seeing a bit of a miscommunication here from the players. He is not going to be able to discard that Hungry Flames. But
right, I think he's thinking of the Kolaghan's command.
Oh, so we did get some value out of this Titan Strength here. All right,
yeah, that's going to actually keep it living there, and he'll get an extra ping, and even be able to swing for... No,
well,
he'll still swing for 0, so he'll just be better off tapping it then.
It's a defender anyways.
But it looks like he's now got 5 in the yard. Not enough for that treasure cruise this turn, but maybe a little bit down the road.
And if we see Osterwart tap out for the Scarab God, we could see that treasure cruise come down.
Yeah, and that's why I think that it could be a little bit risky still on Osterwart's side. As long as he's still making land drops, still got counter spells, I wouldn't mind him just, playing land go, passing, being able to dig through time at the end of Osterwart's next turn.
Yeah, and this dig through time is going to have 5 cards in the graveyard, so he's going to be able to cast that while holding up this disallow the whole time, and I think that's going to be just the best line here. It's really, really important to be able to... Oh, here's a Fatal Push. That's an excellent draw.
I mean, I'd still think go for the same play, although he can still do both. He can do the Fatal Push and then still hold up the dig through time and the disallow.
And that's
not if he does that, though. If he plays it with the Sunken Hollow, he's going to be off of 4 blue mana, which he would need.
So a bit of a misstep.
So that was a little bit of a misstep, yeah.
I don't think it's going to matter very much.
No, we'll see what happens here. I mean, if he goes for the Treasure Cruise, he'll probably tap out for the disallow as a response. Or, I guess he can do this other play. So he did the Fatal Push, and he's following up with the Scarab God. He's thinking, 2 cards in Osterwart's hand, what does he have that's that big if he taps out for? He's probably not expecting something like a Chandra or a Hazaret coming from game 1.
A Hazaret would be very powerful there. I mean...
Yeah, those are the kind of the things that you really want against a control deck out of the red deck, but usually you don't see those as much game 1, except maybe from the mono-red decks.
All he's got is Chandras in the sideboard for his top end, aside from the Search for Escantas and the Treasure Cruises.
Yeah, so that can actually be really tough in the sideboarded games, is you've got the Fevered Visions, you've got the Chandra. It really puts a lot of pressure on the life total of these blue-black decks.
And that's the idea. So here we're going to see a Treasure Cruise.
Okay, he's getting full Delve here. Well, he's getting 6-card Delve here. He's paying 2 for it.
Yeah, and you have to delve everything away.
Now, what is he really looking to draw for here? Just some damage to push through? Do you think we can try and burn him out for 14, or are we just are we hoping for some more like draw cards, Fevered Vision, something like that?
I think he's hoping for something very lucky. I don't see any Magma Sprays in the list. He could maybe go something like Firebrand Archer. Alright, well, we see...
Well, okay, now I see Collective Defiance here. 2 of them. A Hungry Flames, Titan Strength, Ramen Up Ruins. So in theory, he's got 6 damage from Collective Defiance, 2 from Hungry Flames, and 4 from the 2 Ramen Up Ruins. That's I mean, that's only 12 still.
And we've got a Disallow and this Dig Through Time, which will find any number of counters.
Yeah, so it's not like he's going to be able to... And he doesn't have the time against a 5/5 to just sit there and hopefully be able to turn out this damage. So I think maybe his best play... I mean, if he can hope to get another land next turn, he could play the Hungry Flames and the Collective Defiance, kill the Scarab God for a turn, get a little bit upstairs, hope for like a hasty creature to get this Titan Strength through. But it's going to be a tough road back for him.
Yeah, that would be the ideal draw there.
Yeah, so Osterworth's hoping for an untapped land, probably. But, you know, really that play is going to get hit with Disallow, and it's not going to look great.
Well, that's more burn. That's not the worst draw.
All right. 3 damage adds a little bit to the equation, but it's not great if he's going for the play of killing Scarab God here.
Oh, this is going to get really... Oh,
so the
okay.
3 damage...
Oh, he's going to disallow the first... I don't like disallowing the first sprint spell. I think you disallow the second one.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what he's thinking here. I'm wondering if he's thinking of Exquisite Firecraft, which might have been uncounterable at that point.
Okay.
But that's really the only thing I can think of, which it's really valuable to counter the first one. So now he's got 3 mana. I assume he probably just passes the turn. I don't think he wants to do anything like play the Collective Defiance.
I think he's gotta. He doesn't have enough time.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. He doesn't have the time. So he's going to play the Collective Defiance. He's going to take 1 off of his land here and just do the 3 damage to Diamond Man's face.
Yeah. Oh, we may see...
Yep, exactly.
Dig Through Time in response to find a Censor.
Let's see how many he's got in the graveyard here. So, does he have Negate is the real question, because that's the only one that he could go for. He could only find... Okay, so he could theoretically dig for a Censor here. Looks like he's not going to make that play. He's going to take 1 off of another fetch at the end of turn,
and he's just gonna
make this Dig Through Time.
Yeah, he's going to be able to leave some cards in his graveyard, which is pretty valuable.
Yeah. So I wonder if Osterworth could have just passed, and if Diamond Command would have tapped out at that point. Because the Hungry Flames and the Lightning Strike both were instant speed. He could have theoretically gone to kill Scarab God in response, or tried to do it at the end of Diamond Command's turn if he didn't play anything, then hopefully being able to untap with full mana.
Yeah, I think hoping that for your opponent who has 6 lands in play to tap out so you can double burn spell their creature for a turn is a little ambitious when you just don't have that many turns left.
No, absolutely, I can see that. Ooh, so it looks like he could have gone for the Censor.
Right, so not a very strong dig. That's what Osterworth needs in order to get out of this.
Mm-hmm. On the other hand, with a hand like this, I don't know if he even needed to, like, he could have dug for a Censor, but did he really need to?
No, he really didn't. He's going to set the Censor here. Draw another Languish. He has 3 Languishes in the main deck, which are not at their best against this Blue-Red Prowess deck.
Not the best, not at the worst. So the Blue-Red Prowess deck has a very small number of creatures, so if you can keep them off of those creatures, it really goes a long way, even if it means a Languish trading for 1 card, a Vrask's Contempt trading for 1 card. It can make a big difference, because he really wants, you know, these things like Titan Strength are just not any good when his opponent's, you know, sitting on what he is. So actually here, if he does go for this play, he found a land on the top, he's still got the Collective Defiance plus Hungry Flames. It would kill the Scarab God, but does that lead to him winning the game?
Here's the problem. If he does that, he doesn't have enough colored red sources that aren't painful.
Yeah, so he's going to take 1 from this. He'll be able to cast the Hungry Flames without taking pain then. But, you know, it's putting him down to 5 health, so if he's playing into a counter spell, he'd be dead.
And it also doesn't even reduce the clock. Well, it reduces the clock by a turn still, but now it's just 1 swing that kills him.
Mm-hmm.
Other draws.
So what, do you think he would have been better off going for the damage upstairs and cycling his hand?
Cycling his hand might have been interesting, given that I think you really just wanted to get value out of this Hungry Flames. I think that's
Yeah.
fine. It does cause your opponent to tap out, and he will. So that could give Stuart an opportunity to draw, I don't know what at this point. So it may have been better to... He just doesn't have enough mana to get all the things he wants.
Okay, and you remembered his Scarab God trigger, so he's not going to lose the game from that.
And he draws for a Search for Escanta anyway, which will be online fairly
He's got his
shortly.
Kanta, he's got Scarab God, so that's going to be a big play. So really, there's no great way out of this for Osterwart. Even if he had something like that Chandra or that Hazaret, it would get eaten by this Vraska's Contempt right now.
So yeah, we're looking at a no outer. Looking at the list here.
Well,
all
he
the
is
creatures
tapped
that...
out right now, so something like... I mean, does he have the 1/3 flyer? No, I don't believe so. I mean, Monastery Swift Spear might be his best play, at least what he's thinking.
Just another Hungry Flames.
Hmm.
He can sack a Remenop Ruins. He can deal... He can Titan Strength the Scarab God to get another look. He should have done that on upkeep.
He would have had to do that before his turn, yeah. Or before his draw step.
Yes. Yeah, that's game one. So let's take a look at the sideboards here. So first for this blue-black control deck, what do you think is going to be coming in after a successful first game?
Alright, so I'm seeing 2 Crook of Condemnation, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Gifted Aetherborn, 3 Negate, 2 Dispossess, 2 Lost Legacy, 2 Kalitas Trader of Gat. So some stuff for the slower games like Dispossess, that's definitely there for combo, Lost Legacies for combo. But I like Kalitas quite a bit in these kind of matchups, and I think Gifted Aetherborn is an absolute must. So those are definitely the 4 I'm looking for. Let's see at what he really needs to take out. So I think that I don't love Censor in this matchup, but it's not terrible. I kind of don't like quite so many 3-mana counterspells against such a fast deck. So
I have to agree
he's
with
got
that.
2 Disallow, 2 Dissipate, and what does he have here? 2 Supreme Will. So 6 total. I could see cutting that down as some places to put in some of those cards. I also don't think the Silumgar's command can really stay. At least... So here's the question. Does he know or does he expect to see this Fevered Visions? Because Silumgar's command is pretty good there. But if he doesn't expect it, then taking out a 5-mana spell that doesn't answer the board is probably a good idea.
Well, the Silumgar's command can kill a creature, and it can bounce a non-land permanent, I believe. Let's take a look at that. It can counter a non-creature spell, return a permanent to its owner's hand, kill a creature, or destroy a planeswalker. So while the modes do affect the board, it seems a little slow for the matchup.
5 mana is a lot to question. So it's debatable, I think. I think that the easy ones are maybe a couple counter spells, maybe a couple Censors. Essence Scatter is probably still pretty good, although I could see Negate coming in just because some of those big spells like the Treasure Cruise, and if he's expecting Fevered Visions, Chandra, the Negate might be better.
Some of these Languishes could come out as well because they're pretty slow, and they kill your Kalitases and Gifted
especially on the draw here.
Yeah. So for this blue-red Prowess deck, we're looking at a sideboard of 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Outpost Siege, a Crook of Condemnation, an Abrade, a Sorcerer's Spyglass, a Karizev's Expertise, oh boy, 3 Weaver of Lightning, a Dispel, 2 Chandra Torch of Defiance, and an Hour of Devastation.
Oh, Karizev's is quite good. I'm actually surprised there's not more of those, especially with how it interacts with Firebrand Archer, Thermo Alchemist. It's kind of neat.
Well, I like Karizev's on those Scarab Gods.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit risky. I think that there's a lot of games where, or a lot of board states where you're just not going to have a target for it, and then it's going to be dangerous. You can use it on your own Thermo Alchemist to get an extra untap in there, but that's not great. Definitely the Chandra. I think that's the first thing that we definitely want. The Chandra, the Outpost Siege, those seem huge. Then he's got, Weaver of Lightnings there against aggro. Oh, Disdainful Stroke's another good one. So there's a lot of 4-mana spells. Being able to answer that with 2 mana is going to be good.
I think Disdainful Stroke is interesting because it doesn't actually counter anything that beats him, which are the cheap interactive spells. Right?
Yes and no. Depends on what he can get to. I think that his real goal here would be to land one of those Fevered Visions, and that's how he's going to win the game. So in that game, he wins off Disdainful Stroke because anything that he's trying to do is going to be something big, slow. If you can answer a whole turn, that's almost like a time walk. I think that they would definitely probably be worth coming in here. Plus, he has no other real way to... Yeah, he has no other real way to beat something like the Scarab God, the Torrential Gearhulk, which, I mean, those can just take over the game in this otherwise.
Yeah, and I think you want either the Sorceress Spyglass or Karyziv's expertise to deal with the Scarab God. I think you want one of the two.
I'd rather use, I think, Disdainful Stroke than either of those. I think also the Dispel has a lot of
Yeah, Dispel's definitely
merit.
coming in. So we're going to see some stuff to go a little bigger, and perhaps a little bit more interaction with what the blue-black control deck is doing, instead of this removal that was pretty bad in the first game.
Yeah, yeah. Are you hearing me still? I'm not sure if
Yes.
I'm coming through. Okay, great.
All right, so let's get our opening hands drawn.
Alrighty.
So yeah, Silumgar's command was very powerful there. You don't see it a lot.
Which card?
Silumgar's command.
Yeah, it did look okay there. I think that it's a little expensive. I think that it might be it's something that's good in kind of that blue-black control mirror match.
Yeah, this seems really set up for blue-black control mirrors. You see only 3 fatal pushes, many more counters than removal spells.
You've got the main deck Search Res Kenta, which is good in that matchup, and that can be dangerous against something really, really aggressive.
A full 3 Vraska's Contempt. So yeah, this looks very well set up for mirrors. Alright, so here we see our hands. So we do see that the blue-black control player did bring in Negates and Kalitas and left in Silumgar's command.
Okay, okay.
We see a fairly...
So this looks like a little bit better start on the other side, maybe. I mean, 4-land hand is a little bit suspect. So he's going turn 1 Monastery Swiftspear. He's got a turn 2 Thermal Alchemist, turn 3 Collector Defiance, if that's how he plays it out. But if he doesn't see some more interaction after that, then it's going to go nowhere very fast. Now, on the other side, we've got, let's see, 3 lands. He's already played the Swamp. We see Dig Through Time, Silumgar's Command. Those will come quite down the road. He's got a Negate and a Kalitas for a little bit sooner. So the Negate might be able to catch something, especially like a turn 3 Fevered Visions if that happens to come off the top. But other than that, it's going to be it's not as good as like a Fatal Push that you might want to see.
And so here we're seeing the downside of building your deck to fight these blue-black control mirrors, and that's getting run over by creatures here. We look at the blue-black control deck. There's only 3 Fatal Pushes.
Yeah, only 3 Fatal Push. It's tough to justify, but at the same time, there are a lot of decks that are... Ooh, so this is interesting. He's playing... Astaward is playing a land, and he's going for the Wild Slash to the face right now.
Maybe to...
So he's not holding back till after he's played the Thermal Alchemist. I'm not sure if he really wants that extra prowess trigger, or if he didn't want to wait for the possibility of getting hit by something. I think that was risky, especially with the chance of Fatal Push still being an option. That would have completely blown out that line of play.
I think he really wants to get around some of these counter spells, and I think that's a good way of playing around Censor in the future turns.
Okay, okay.
I mean, it's reasonable.
Now, something that he just picked up, Diamond Command here is drawing 2 lands. He drew a Bloodstained Mire, and then this turn he drew a Field of Ruins. That's yet another one that's good in those control mirrors. It answers the Search for Azcanta once it's flipped, as well as answering some of the cards that are very good in the mirror match, like maybe Westvale Abbey.
Yeah.
I've seen Blighted Fen, which can come in as an answer to the other control mirror breakers, like the what is that big... The Sphinx of the Final Word.
Sphinx of the Final Word, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're seeing a Smoldering Marsh here. Does he have any... I don't see any black cards in the deck. That just looks to be there for fixing.
So that's a little strange because the only ones he have that would fetch are the ones that fetch for red. So let me see if he has, like, anything in the sideboard. Not that I'm seeing. I wonder if he has something like... No, I don't see anything that has red. I don't see anything like... what's the sweeper for 3 mana?
Flaying Tendrils.
Yeah. Oh, no, the...
for red, for the red deck?
Radiant Flames.
Radiant Flames. There are a number of them.
No, I don't see anything like that he might want. Yeah, but there's nothing in his list right now that would really want those red cards. So...
The black as well. Yeah.
Let's see here. So, third turn, he drew a Titan Strength here, which turned out pretty well. He went for Thermal Alchemist, went to play the Titan Strength on the Swiftspear, and that got negated. So he swung in for 2 there.
Oh, another Titan Strength. That's going to be really good here.
Yeah, diamond's down to 13.
Yeah, and he's going to be taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage this turn. Now, I would be interested in holding this Collective Defiance, perhaps to answer a Kalidas.
Yeah, I think that I would rather go for the Titan Strength than the Collective Defiance. I wonder if he knows that Cletus is in the deck, though, is the real question.
Yeah, that is the real question.
Maybe
Still,
it
we're going to
depends
see a
on what he
lot of
sees in the
damage
top.
push through.
Okay, so 1 for the ping. Let's see, the Titan Strength.
Nope.
Okay, so he's going for the Collective Defiance first.
This is still going to do... This may be lethal. How much is that? 3,
Let me see.
6,
3,
7, 8, 9... yeah, that is...
Okay, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
So this will untap the Thermo Alchemist. It'll put the Monastery Swift Spear to a 2/3. So this ping will put him down to 8. The ping from Titan Strength will put him down to 7. And he'll swing in for...
6.
Is he not going for it? Let's see here.
His opponent's going to be at 1 health.
I was going to say his opponent will be at 1 here.
Because this does an additional 5 damage.
So that'll put him to a 6/5. 2 prowess triggers, 3/1. Yep, 6/5. So that'll be 6 damage and untap the Thermal Alchemist again. He'll also get a Scry here.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets any of those. if he does.
Ooh, he did not.
He does have to Scry because that's part of the thing.
Alchemist. Right.
So that's missing a point of damage, and that's gonna maybe cost the game.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult, especially with Kalidas here being able to soak up some. I mean, he can't attack through it, so that life gain's going to be difficult.
Yeah, so that's a big trigger to miss.
But he is tapped out now, so let's see what he does.
Yeah, so if a Stuart draws another instant or sorcery, this will work out, but here we go.
And Scrying might have helped with that. Well, there you go. Hungry Flames, that'll be 2 upstairs, and that'll be the game.
So that could have gone badly, though, for the prowess player.
Definitely could have gone badly, missing the trigger on Thermo Alchemist, as well as not scrying there.
Yeah, and here we see just the little margins you have to be able to get through sometimes to play with these aggressive decks against blue-black control. You really have to squeeze everything you can out of your cards.
Although, this is exactly what I was saying, that Silumgar's command, especially on the draw there, he never got to 5 mana.
Yeah, didn't do anything.
I still like Dig Through Time because, you got to be able to catch up if you're trading 1 for 1, but the Silumgar's command, I could have seen that coming out.
Now, something I want to see, maybe not in this matchup, but in something like a blue-black control mirror, is a Silumgar's command off of a Torrential Gearhulk.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's something really powerful you can do. And even just the ability to, it's another way to answer Planeswalkers, which in some ways you think Vraska's Contempt would have kind of taken that role, but, I mean, if you're really going big, you go big.
Well, he's also got 3 Vraska's Contempt. So this is definitely sort of a big blue-black control deck that has a little bit of a slower game, but some more powerful answers.
I could almost see, I'm surprised I haven't seen more of Ugin. If you're really going to try and go bigger with one of these blue-black controlled lists. That used to be something popular in kind of the 4-color control during Standard time. Even a little bit of the early Frontier control decks were running that.
Yeah, that seems a little bad, because I mean, it's powerful, but there's a lot of blue in Frontier, and there's a lot of disdainful strokes in Frontier, and that just seems very disdainful strokeable.
Yeah, that's true. These blue-black decks aren't one of these ones that they just have one win. They have one win con. They've got a few ways to do it. They've got the Scarab God. They've got the Torrential Gearhulks. I guess that's really only the 2 ways to win main deck, but they're not one of these decks that does nothing but counter and then has 1 card in their deck, like a what is the Pearl Lake Ancient, which is like their only win con.
So let's take a look at these opening hands. Here we see a very nice hand from the Prowess deck that actually has nothing blue in it.
And not a great one from the other side. So from the blue-black control deck, we see 2 Swamps. He kept on 6 here. He's got a Supreme Will, a Dig Through Time, a Torrential Gearhulk, and a Scarab God. So I would have not kept that 6, I think.
Because that's essentially
he's got no blue mana, and he's got he's basically got a 3-card hand here because the Scarab God, the Gearhulk, the Dig Through Time, they're not going to be seen anytime soon.
Also, oh, there's a Fatal Push. That's decent, but there are more creatures here than he can answer.
Yeah, so he kept a Fatal Push on top. That
No,
helps a
he
little
did
bit, but
scry
that's
to the
still,
bottom, I
he's now
believe.
out of lands on his... Oh, he went to the bottom and
Yeah,
drew
he's
a
looking
Fatal
for a
Push.
land.
Okay.
Oh, there are 4 pushes main board? In this list here that I have, I only see 3 pushes.
Yeah, we won't call him on that.
Yeah.
He's saying 4 push main board in the chat, but he may have sent us a slightly older version of the list.
And that's fine. Oh, man. This is
Ooh,
this is
so
gonna be...
that's yet another good card from the top. So let's take a dive into this Osterwart's hand here.
So are we going to see this Wild Slash here? Probably
So
not.
I'm not sure if I like that. Generally, the rule of thumb is that you'd rather play your non-prowess creatures first, and then, or your non-haste creatures first, and then play your haste creatures on later turns. So he went for the Monastery Swift Spear and a Wild Slash. I would have much preferred either the Thermal Alchemist or the Firebrand Archer, and then the next turn he could have gone something like Monastery Swift Spear, Wild Slash. It would be 3 or 4 more damage than that route.
But I think he's just trying to get as aggressive as possible, trying to get as much damage as he can in before this blue-black control player is able to do some stabilization.
Yeah, I guess I mean, it doesn't really help play around sweepers, though, so that part I don't really like. Now, what is this card he just drew on the blue-black side? Oh, so that's Dissipate.
Very
so that's a 2
Dissipate.
blue and 1 in a... He's holding 2 black mana. Not so great.
Yeah. Yeah, this hand is very awkward, and... Ooh, so he did bring in that Sorcerer's Spyglass. That's going to be... I would be curious to see
so some sideboard choices that are interesting here. So he brought in the Sorcerer's Spyglass, and he left in the Dissipate. So I think both of those are a little bit strange.
The Sorcerer's Spy, yeah, as well as this Hungry Flame still being in the deck against the blue-black control deck.
Yeah, that's strange as well. Now, with the Sorcerer's Spyglass, if he had slammed that right now, you know what I would have liked to see? Is him name one of the fetch lands. I think that if he goes ahead and names something like probably the Polluted Delta, that could keep him off of mana for a long time.
Now,
that's kind of risky, but like seeing his hand, there's nothing else really that you want to hit other than maybe the Scarab God.
Yeah, the Scarab God is the premier.
All right, so we've got a third land here, which is a blue-black that came in untapped, which is great here. He'll be able to have that Supreme Will online, but not this Dissipate. So
I would cast that Supreme Will to dig for a land. I would not try and counter something here.
That's fair. That's a good idea. So Osterwart's still definitely in the driver's seat, though.
Oh, yeah.
He's going for the Sorcerer's Spyglass. Okay.
No.
And we are seeing a
counter.
counter. Ooh, that's going to be rough.
Yeah, he's probably...
Hang on, I'm going to correct him here because that Alchemist will not untap.
Yeah.
Okay, and the opponent also noticed that.
Yeah. We are going to see the Swift Spear come in for 2 more damage.
Yeah, so that's another reason why maybe he could have played the Firebrand first, or why I just think the Thermal Alchemist is a little bit awkward with so many artifacts and enchantments. Personally, I like Riddle for him, but I'm the only one who's on that train.
Ooh, well, here we see another great draw of this island here. He's drawing out of this mana problem.
Yeah, we thought he was done for, but that is definitely the card he wanted to see here. But it's not going to go that far. Ooh, now Incendiary Flow is a good one. That's 3 damage, and with the creatures he has on board, that's 5 damage, even if he can counter. Or it's 2 damage if he can counter it, 5 damage otherwise.
Yeah. So I imagine we're going to see a counter here. I don't know what...
I wonder if he's going for another creature.
I think he doesn't...
So he's going for the Incendiary Flow.
I think he's trying to play around Languish as much as possible.
Yeah, I think he's trying to play around Languish, but it's getting tough. So this Dissipate will take care of the Incendiary Flow. It's still going to trigger Prowess. It's still going to untap his Alchemist here. So he'll come in for another 3 damage.
2, yeah, 3 total.
2 for the swing. He'll probably wait to ping at the end of the turn.
Languish, there it is.
So top deck Languish, man. Top decking really well here for Diamond Command. I'm still not loving his position, so he still doesn't have enough in the yard. Oh, okay, this will put enough in the yard to dig through time next turn if he lives through all of this.
Well, he's going to
So I think that there's still a nice route out of it.
Yeah. This is going to be a very close game. He needs to dig through time into a land, probably plus an interactive spell of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Scarab God is going to be fine. But
Now, what does Astawart hope to see still? Is he still hoping for? Well, I wouldn't. Normally, I would say his best card is the Fevered Visions, but not so much when his opponent is stumbling on land, and when he doesn't have any blue mana. So that might not be the best draw. I'm trying to think what would be good here.
the Lightning Strike is just
Lightning
fine.
Strike. Yeah, it's okay. I wouldn't have minded maybe a land first, so he could have gotten both these creatures down at once. It's definitely hurting him that he's only been on the.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay.
Now that I do not like. So he went for the Lightning Strike, 3 damage upstairs, rather than playing out his Archer or his Thermal Alchemist.
Oh, wow. Just
So again, he's
straight lands.
giving up the guaranteed damage. So another land off the top, that's nice. But he's giving up the guaranteed damage that he could have played later at the expense of the risky damage. So now he plays a creature, it has a chance of just dying. Whereas I feel like the Lightning Strike always would have been damage.
He just wants to burn him out right here.
So he's going for the Hungry Flames just as a 2 damage upstairs. Sorry, I'm talking way over you here.
No,
Please feel free to interrupt.
Yeah, so I think he's just trying to draw into... Let's see what the top deck is here. This is going to be pretty relevant.
Yeah, he's had some good top decks, so let's see what he's got next. So he's going Trigger on the stack. Oh, it looks like he might actually be reanimating something. He's saying, I don't know if I'm going to draw a land. I don't know if I want to depend on Dig Through Time if you've got another burn spell. So let's try and... What is he going to bring back? The
Swift Spear. Ooh, which has haste. That's an excellent
Swift Spear? Yeah, I guess so.
And because it's going to... So that's a 2-turn clock. Because that's going to drain 1 from the Scarab God. And he's going to attack for 9. So that's going to deal 10 to Ostwart. And Ostwart is dead if he doesn't draw exactly a burn spell.
All right, I think I like that play then.
He's really putting Ostwart to the test here.
This is still tough. This is still tough, though. So thinking about his other choice of actions, if he hadn't played that and he didn't draw something he could play, 4 mana for Dig Through Time means that he would only have 1 mana left up for a possible counterspell to a theoretical burn spell off the top of Ostwart's hand, or if he has another one in hand that he's been holding back. Which I don't think is ridiculous. I feel like if you were in Diamond's position, you'd be thinking that Ostwart's going for some kind of
He's holding back so he doesn't get killed by another Swift Spear. I don't like this. I think you're already dead to a burn spell. I think you just need to kill your opponent as fast as possible. But it does pay off.
That possible payoff, yeah. So what do you think he plays? The Swift Spear and the Archer or the Alchemist? Oh, no, if he does that...
Yeah, that's awkward.
So he tapped poorly there. It looks like he's going to end up having to take a point of damage off of his lands. You could have done that without taking a point of damage.
Yeah, I definitely think Alchemist is right here.
I guess this gives him another 1 turn to draw into a burn spell. So I do think that Diamond Command could have done that a little better last turn. Although he still could have been able to block. So either way, it's 1 burn spell away.
Yes. So we'll look and see. Oh, more Gifted Aetherborns. Yeah, so this burn spell needs to come right now.
Now what I maybe like is that the Archer in his hand, if he drew something that he could cast immediately, like the Titan Strength, he could play the Archer, play the Titan Strength, and that's a point of damage. But that's only 1, and Diamond Command here is at 2.
Well, if this Alchemist survives, and it looks like it's going to...
then that would be 2 points of damage, theoretically. Again, he just needs a spell. He needs some kind of spell off the top.
Yeah.
A land wouldn't do it. He doesn't have enough to play the Ramanap Ruins here.
No. So
he's trading his Swift Spear away because those Gifted Aetherborn, he can't attack into them. They've got lifelink.
Yeah. And here we go.
All right, let's see this draw.
Ah.
Well, all right, so is he dead this turn?
So he's essentially at 12. He's taking 5, 9, 13, so he does need to block. He can block a Gifted Aetherborn and go to 1.
Well, I think he'd rather block the Scarab God and go to, or one of the other 2 creatures and take much less, but still not great here. So he's going to play both the Archers And he's still just hoping for some kind of spell.
Yep.
He's got one turn really to do it.
Yeah, he needs to draw like a lightning strike here.
Well, let me see. So he's going to... Diamond Command is going to gain 4 life here, so that's going to be troublesome.
So if he... Oh, the Gifted Aetherborns have Death Touch. Never mind.
Now, here's the question. What if he goes for another Swift Spear on a... Does that put it over lethal?
So he blocks 4/4/5. It doesn't quite, but it puts this game... So he's 11. He has to block the Scarab God. He has to block the Scarab God and a Swift Spear, and take.
No, then he has to block 3, I think, doesn't he? Because he can't. No, he could block just the 2, take 8 damage, go down to 3, and have 1 creature left.
Yeah, and he would need to draw how many points of burn? He would need
His
to draw
opponent will be
exactly
at...
Treasure Cruise, and then draw into multiple burn spells.
Well, let me see. His opponent will be at 5, so I think that a Lightning Strike would do it, assuming he keeps Thermo Alchemist alive.
His opponent will be at 6.
He'll be able to use the Thermo Alchemist for
yes,
1
you're
this
right.
turn.
Okay. So yeah, a Lightning Strike or a Treasure Cruise is what we're looking for. Or any 3
Lightning
damage burn spell.
Strike. Yeah, any 3 damage burn spell. I think that's his best line, is to the Thermo Alchemist alive, hope for any 3 damage burn spell, chump whatever he has to for the rest of it. Oh, now this is actually... I don't know if this gives him more outs. He's not attacking with everything. He's leaving back 1 Gifted Aetherborn as a blocker, and... No. So this is bad.
Yeah, this is not very good.
He didn't have to do any of this, really. I guess it still leaves him in the same position because Diamond didn't attack with everything. That means he's at 2 less life, but he does have blockers against a theoretical creature off the top. So maybe he's afraid of something like Hazaret being his win condition here.
Search for Escanto will not do it.
That will not do anything. Nope. Now, that would have worked. No, that wouldn't have even worked with Thermo Alchemist.
It would have killed had he not blocked. Well, no, he would have had to block with 1. No,
I don't think he had to block 1 unless if he was afraid of the Prowess trigger.
He'd be at 1. He could tap the... So he'd need to block 1 of the creatures. So he'd have 2 creatures that deal damage. So we'd do 2...
Safest.
2 damage. No, he'd still be short a point of damage, it looks like.
Yeah. Now, if he had left the Thermo Alchemist alive... Yeah, I think if he had left... Let me see. He'd have left the Thermo Alchemist alive, left the Firebrand Archer... If he hadn't blocked with anything, he'd have had exactly lethal here.
Except he would have been at 1 health and he couldn't have cast the Search for Escanto.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He couldn't have cast the Search for Escanto.
And, again, that mishap with the Ramanop Ruins, that would have...
Yeah, if he hadn't earlier in the game messed up with the Ramanop Ruins, and he hadn't blocked at all, then he would have lived here. But, you know, that's a lot of what-ifs in the middle of the game.
Yep. But, yeah,
but I think that was an interesting matchup.
Important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that should be the lesson. I hope that when he's hopefully watching this stream later, he can go back and review that. But I thought it was a very interesting game. I think that some of the games that didn't look close were still closer than they appeared.
Yeah, I think the first game was... The second game really showed what the power of the uncontested deck is. I mean, that was a turn 4 kill, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was... Well, I think it was his turn 5.
Ah, okay.
It was before the control player's 5th turn.
So, very, very close third game, though. There were some top decks, any number of turns that would have just ended the game.
Yeah, I think we were trying to call those out whenever they were showing up. All right, but that's really our stream, I think, for tonight, right?
Yeah, we've done our match.
Yeah, I mean... Guys, we've been streaming matches of the UOL every week, every Tuesday afternoon. Otherwise,
well, we should talk about the leagues that we're doing right now.
Yeah, so there's some great leagues. This is the Frontier League. We've also got... We're calling out the other leagues here. We've got the Modern League, Legacy League. I mean, you're paying attention to our Final Frontier channel, so there probably anyone out there is mostly caring about the Frontier stuff. But yeah, anything you want to shout out, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the Legacy League is finishing up its second season. We're in the top 4 now. I'm still live for first place, but we'll see if I got paired against Storm or not. I do not like my Storm matchup very much. And then we've got our Modern our modern one, which is in the middle of going. It's probably halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
And then our...
I think they're on round... I think we're round 4 out of 6 in Swiss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the Frontier League is just getting started. This is season 3, I believe.
Yeah, if we're counting. This is the second season of Ixalan Standard, or Ixalan Frontier.
Well...
But anyways, I'm going to call it a night. This is a lot of fun, and I would enjoyed streaming with you.
Well, thanks. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.